Hello folks, I'm Dean with Dean's Woodworking. Y'all come on into the shop and make yourself comfortable. Today, we're going to turn a Spurtle. Yes, that's right, a Spurtle. Scottish tool for stirring porridge. And we're going to go ahead and get started turning on that. And then after we get it turned, we'll talk just a little bit about what I've learned on the history of the Spurtle. So if you want to see that, just stay tuned to the end, okay? And then once we get done with that, I will show you some images of the finished Spurtle. Okay, folks, let's get going. Okay, folks, so what I've got chucked up in the lathe right here is a piece of cherry. It's about 11.5 inches long. It's about 1.5 inch square. So a little bit shorter than what I think the normal Spurtle is. I think normally they're about 13 inches. But I have these cherry blanks on hand, so we're going to use it to make one, okay? So you might want to adjust the length of yours to be a little longer. Okay, we've got the face shield on, so let's go ahead and get started. Always start out slow. You can turn the lathe speed up as you go. It's always a good idea to check that, make sure it's tight. So we're between centers, and this is a small piece, so we're going to go ahead and run speed on up a little bit. And we're just going to come in and move with our body along the distance of that piece of wood. And just bring it on down. This is a roughing gouge, folks. Not to be confused with anything to be used on a bowl. So let's go ahead and bring that on down a little bit. Feels like we've got it pretty smooth, but let's just double check. Yes, we definitely have it round. You can do a lot of turning with a spindle roughing gouge on spindle work. So let's grab a pencil and we're going to make some marks here. We're going to say that that is the top of the Spurtle. We're going to go pretty much by the width of my hand, and so I am not measuring that out, but that's going to be more or less the handle of the Spurtle. And I have seen many different versions of Spurtles. This one we're going to have a little bit of a bulb end. We're going to go ahead and kind of come back just a little bit here. I'm going to go ahead and cut this down just a little bit. These peeling cuts will take that wood down really quick. One of the things that I've noticed, even that I have been doing lately, is reducing the size of this back end before I get finished with that end. That's really not a good idea. You'll pick up more vibration that way. So we're going to work our way back on this. That's quite a bit of wood sticking out there. Okay, we're going to switch hands, come in left-handed. This is another thing that something like this can be a tremendous skill builder. And if you're a right-handed turner, I suggest that you try and practice turning left hand a little bit. Vice versa, if you're a left-handed turner, it would be in your best interest to try turning right hand, and just gives you a little bit more versatility in what you're doing. We're going to put a ball right there in the middle and a thistle on the end. Okay, we'll switch back to the skew, and we're just going to make a slicing cut right through here. Okay folks, we're going to bring this down just a little bit here. And then I don't like the way this is right here, so we're going to go ahead and bring it in just a little bit too. So now I've got that and that roughly the same size. I like that a little bit better. Okay, let's stop and take a look at that, folks. Again, it doesn't take very long to turn one of these. Looks pretty good. So looking at that, I had that tool bouncing around on me quite a bit with the vibration, and you can certainly see the marks in the wood. So let's come back and try another cut with that. And it is going to be vibrating too much. We're going to have to sand that out. Give me just a moment to do some sanding on this project, and I'll be right back. While I'm doing the sanding, if you guys like what you're seeing, please go down and subscribe. Hit the notifications bell so when I send out new content, you get notified of it. And if you don't mind, give me a like and some comments on what you think about the videos I'm doing. Good, bad, or ugly, I appreciate the feedback. Thanks, and I'll be right back. Okay, folks, so we've got it sanded down. We're going to put a little burn lines on it, then put some finish on it, and call it a finished Spurtle. And if you're doing these, just be careful. Make sure you do not touch one of those wires after you have burned a line with it. It is extremely hot. And I did a video a while back on how to make the burning wires. So if you're interested, you can go to my site and see exactly how to make some for yourself. I really enjoy using them. They just kind of highlight everything. So I'm going to go ahead and narrow this down just a little bit here. We're not going to take it off, but we are going to make that to where we're ready to take it off. Okay, so we've got it ready to put the finish on. I'm going to get some walnut oil and we'll go ahead and put that on there and we'll be right back, okay? I always like to see the finish go on myself, so I thought you guys might like to see that too. So let's just go ahead and we'll put walnut oil on. Really nice watching that wood pop as that oil's going on. Okay, so we're going to turn this on and go ahead and burn that in just a little bit. Good deal, folks. We are ready now to take it off of the lathe and part it off. So let's go ahead and do that. So folks, we have a Spurtle. I'll go ahead and trim this end off. sand this end, put a little bit of finish on it. It's ready to go to the kitchen and and be used. So hold on just a minute while I do that, and I'll be right back, and we'll talk a little bit about what I found out about the history of Spurtle. Okay folks, so we've got the Spurtle finished. I went ahead and did the end. Let me give you a little closer look here. Top end, bottom end, both finished off. And so that's our Spurtle for the day. Now folks, let's talk just a little bit about the history of a Spurtle. You know, I can tell you, going back not too many years ago when I joined the Gulf Coast Woodturners, had no idea what a Spurtle was, never heard of such a thing. The gentleman that took care of the raffle had a dozen fresh farm eggs and a block of wood that was part of the raffle, and said, well, the block of wood is so you can make a Spurtle. Well, I wasn't about to tell anybody at the Woodturners group that I didn't know what a Spurtle was, but I couldn't figure out how in the world that had anything to do with eggs. And so I came home and looked it up on the internet and found out what a Spurtle is. Well, most of the time when you see Spurtles, it's pretty much something similar to what we just made. A lot of times they just have a pointed tip on them. I found out through some research and looking at some history that back in the day they didn't come to a point. They were larger for stirring that porridge, and back before that the Spurtles actually were more like a spatula, and they were used for flipping little cakes and stuff. Then as they started using them to stir stews and soups and things like that, they got rid of the flat end and it became a rounded end, and then that was made even more popular by the cooking of porridge. Who knew there could be so much history wrapped around a simple stick? But that's basically what it is, and the history goes back way further than that, and there's a lot more to it. I mean, I didn't even graze the surface on the history of Spurtles, but I did find it quite interesting, and if you're interested in Spurtles at all, you might find it worth going in and doing a Google search and looking at some of the history of how Spurtles came to be. I found it fascinating, and maybe you will too. Folks, thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and happy turning.